What's good, YouTube? Freedom of My Productions here, and I want to talk about this a quick review about Echo, the Disney Plus series. So I just binge watched Echo, and I have to say, man, Echo really has me like perplexed, man, because like the first two episodes of Echo was good. I would say that. I would say the first two episodes of Echo was good. Episode one was great. Um, Episode one was probably like the best episode. The fight scenes, choreography was good. I love the pacing of it. Of course, we love Daredevil showing up in it. And oh yeah, spoilers for everybody who ain't watched all the Echo yet. This is spoilers. Um, the series not that long, so y'all can catch up with it fast. It's only 5 episodes, but the Daredevil was great. The fight scenes was great. I liked it, and it seemed grounded. Like the first episode, the first two episodes seemed really grounded, and the first episode was just good, man. I liked the tone, I liked the feeling to it. Um, it reminded me a lot of the first two episodes reminded me a lot of Banshee. If anybody ever watched Banshee on it was like Cinemax or something like that a long time ago. Uh, I think the guy who plays Homelander, he starred in it. I can't think of his name now. Some star, Anthony Starr. But it gave me that type of feel, and I was like, okay, this could actually be something great, man. We know that it's rated R, a lot of blood, you know what I'm saying, killing, everything that we want from, a street level Marvel character, right? And that's what I thought Echo was. I thought Echo was like it's supposed to be like uh, the female Daredevil. She's like sort of like Elektra, but she's more in the streets, more in the gutter type character. You know what I'm saying? And I respect that. And she's handicapped, and you know what I'm saying, because she's like a deaf mute, and like, but and she's missing a leg, but none of that's holding her back. It just makes her a tough fighter, and she uses all her disadvantages to her advantage. And that's what I really liked about it. Okay, yeah, Echo could be something great, man. This could be something different from Disney Plus Marvel. Something we ain't seen, because Disney Plus Marvel doesn't have a good track record right now. But episode one was great. Episode two was cool. Episode two, I think that's the train scene, the train episode. I thought that was good. I like the train episode. I like her coming back in town. She meeting up with her folks. Um, you know, her trying to settle in. Um, Trying to get her, her bearings together, and how she's gonna figure out she's getting hunted by Kingpin's men, and she's trying to figure out like how she's gonna survive this, and she's thinking like, hey, She thinks Kingpin's dead. She's like, I gotta take over his empire. I want to be the queen pin in this, right? And we get to see her family, her friends. Now that she's an adult and she's been away for 20 years. So, episode two was cool because the train scene was great. I thought the train scene was good. Special effects was good on it, and it gave you like, once again, I keep saying this, it gave you like this down to earth type of street fighter. Like, okay, like, yo, this is gonna be like some Daredevil type, you know what I'm saying, street stuff. It's grounded. It's grounded in the streets. It's not like these superheroes who can fly or you know what I'm saying. It's not gonna be like this big thing. It's gonna be like, oh, it's gonna be grounded with martial arts and guns, killing people, knives, stuff like that. Hold on one second. Sorry, I'm catching a cold. But that was gonna be grounded with something like that. But episode 3 is when they started losing me. in episode one, they introduced something that was kind of weird. I don't know nothing about Echo. I don't know nothing about her comic book character. I don't know nothing about her. All I know is what we've seen in Hawkeye, right? That's it, the Hawkeye series. But they introduced this whole thing where they're showing, I guess her ancestors from like 1,000 years ago. They lived in a cave and they weren't human. They were like alien beings. They really never explained it. They were like these alien beings that lived in a cave, and a great earthquake happened, and they was on the surface of the earth. They had to leave the cave or something, and they became human. They adapted to Earth or something, became human, and the leader of them was some female warrior. She became the leader, and from there, her ancestors, like I guess every female down the line ends up gaining some type of power from this ancient water they used to drink when it was in the cave. They really never explain it really, but like, so basically, it's almost like some Avatar type stuff, like the Last Airbender type stuff, to where every couple of generations, I guess, that one of the females will get like would inherit this power, and the power, I guess, will fit their personality or something like that, or something, or something weird like that. But they had some type of power, and their hands will start glowing, and they have visions of the person who had the powers before them. Like they're connected. They're connected to the people who had the powers before them, all the way down to the first Choctaw member, because they're like Choctaw Indians. They live in Oklahoma, and after she shot Kingpin, she had to escape, and she was on the run, and she ended up going back to her grandmother's house, or her mom's house, where her mom used to live, because her mom died in a car accident. But yeah, she ended up going back to their mom's house when they lived in Oklahoma, and she started living there because she was trying to escape Kingpin's assassins or whatever. Because we all know she shot Kingpin at the end of Hawkeye. Of course, Kingpin doesn't die, and that's straight out the comics. I heard that's something straight out the comics where Echo does shoot him and or whatever. She shoots him in the head, but he doesn't die. Of course, it's Kingpin. So yeah, episode 2, she's back at home, Oklahoma. They introduce her family members. We meet. Oh man, I can't think of her name right now, man. Was it Carpet or something? She had a cousin, some guy who drove a truck, and the steering wheel on the right hand side of the car. I can't think of his name right now. But she had another cousin called Bunny, a female cousin. She looked at her like a sister. She had, her grandmother was still alive. She worked at she delivered mail, and she had like someone who, I don't know if he was married to her grandmother or not, but it wasn't her grandfather. It was like someone the grandmother was dating, and he owns a pawn shop, and he's like, this dude's like Tony Stark when it comes to pawn shops. Like, he could make things up. We'll get into that. But episode 2 was cool, man. Let me just get to episode 2. Episode 2 was cool. The train heist, it was real. It was cool. I like the train heist. I like her sneaking around. Like I said before, it seemed more grounded. But something happened in episode 2 that kind of led into what I think the show started on the decline, and that was they started introducing her getting these powers. She ended up getting her leg stuck between a train, like between the carts of the train, and her middle leg was stuck in there, and she couldn't get out. She couldn't escape. She was eventually gonna get caught, and she started having flashbacks of like all the people that had the powers, like all her ancestors who had the power or whatever, and her hands started glowing, and she was strong enough to push the cart away and free her leg. her crushed middle leg. And since then, when they start introducing these powers, that's when it goes downhill. It's not grounded no more. It's not this grounded show no more about someone with disabilities who can overcome adversity. It becomes now like, oh, she's just another superhero who just get random powers out of nowhere, which makes no sense. And she's just chosen, I guess, you know. I don't want to say it's not earned, because she is a good fighter at the end of the day, and she had to earn that herself. But yeah, it seems like a cop out, man. I don't know, man. And it took away that street, that street gritty fight in Warrior we wanted to see, and replaced it with like, oh, okay, this is just like some chick with superpowers now. And episode 3, this is when I think the shit hit the fan. And it's sad too, because like episode 3 could have been the best episode, because episode 3 had a lot of fighting in it. It had a lot of fighting, had a lot of action in it, but it seemed so choreographed. Like the fight scenes were bad. I can't even explain it. The fight scenes were not good. The editing was real weird. Like every time like they go to hit someone, it's like edit. So it was like real choppy. It was slow. It was real slow, and it just didn't look good. And it's disappointing, because episode 1, the fight scenes look good. The fight scenes actually look real good in episode 1, when she was fighting Daredevil, and she was fighting like these little goons in like the garage or whatever. It looked good, but I don't know who directed episode 3. The choreography looks terrible though. It didn't look good, and a lot of stuff didn't make sense. It got cartoonish at some point to where she became like MacGyver. For no reason, she's like trapped in this room with roller skates, and she makes like a whole type of gun out of, I can't even explain it. It's so weird. She makes a gun that lights up that she could shoot. I don't know what she was shooting. Like, was she shooting like skate wheels or something? It was so stupid. She built like this gun like in 5 minutes out of nowhere. It makes no sense why she built this gun. And she built the gun to knock out some lights out of an open window, when she could have just literally just threw the skates at the light through the open window. Like the lights were like 5 feet away from her. She could have actually just threw the skates and just broke it. But no, they had her build a whole gun for it. Why? Made no sense. It's so weird that she breaks out. They kidnap her. They got her in this little skate room. She breaks out the skate room. She breaks out the, they got her zip tied. She cuts the zip tie. She gets out, and they walk in the room. They see that she's free. They pull guns on her, and it was like, oh, we can't kill her though. We can't kill her. And so she just starts like throwing stuff at them. They was like, let's get out of here. And close the door, just leave her there untied. And then they kind of just ignore her. And so she builds a gun. She knocks out some lights. The person walks in there with a gun. Where are you at? What are you doing? You know where she's at. She's in the room. You're guarding the room. Why are you going in there? Because she knocked out some lights. Who cares? You guys never tried to tie her back up. Y'all had guns on her. Y'all told her we can't kill you. So she doesn't even care at this point. It's so weird, cartoonish. It was so dumb. All that was dumb. She gets free. She has all these fight scenes. The fight scenes were bad. That was just bad. The choreography was so bad, man, and the editing was so weird. It made it choppy. It was like choppy fighting, and then like she slamming dudes through like CGI arcade games and stuff. It didn't look good at all, man. It was bad. It was so bad, and like they try to make this thing about her cousin Bunny. They try to build like her cousin Bunny's gonna play this big role in the show, right? They show her in the first episode, they're little kids with a flashback, how they see each other as sisters, not cousins, but they're like more like sisters. And you're thinking like, oh man, she's gonna play a big part somehow. No, really, her cousin Bunny, really, she really doesn't show up until episode 3, really, and she really doesn't show up until episode 4. And she really doesn't show up until episode 5. And she really doesn't show up until episode 6. And she really doesn't show up until episode 7. And she really doesn't show up until episode 8. And she really doesn't show up until episode 9. And she really doesn't show up until episode 10. And she really doesn't show up until episode 11. And she really doesn't show up until episode 12. And she really doesn't show up until episode 13. And she really doesn't show up until episode 14. And she really doesn't show up until episode 15. And she really doesn't show up until episode 16. And she really doesn't show up until episode 17. And she really doesn't show up until episode 18. And she really doesn't show up until episode 19. And she really doesn't show up until episode 20. And she really doesn't show up until episode 21. And she really doesn't show up until episode 22. And she really doesn't show up until episode 23. And she really Echo's like trying to avoid her because I guess she don't want to get her involved in her bullcrap. But she shows up, and the only thing she does is get kidnapped. She gets kidnapped. Echo frees her, tell her to go away, and then like the last episode, she gets kidnapped again. Echo frees her, and she goes away. She's just literally there to get kidnapped. She's just a plot point, so Echo could become a hero by keep saving her, even though Echo's the reason why she's in danger. Hold on, give me a second. I'm sorry. All right, sorry. Runny nose, man. I'm getting sick. But her cousin is just pointless, man. In episode 4, that's when we finally get. This is when we finally get Kingpin, and I thought Kingpin would play a bigger part in the show, but really, we get him in like episode 1. I liked him in episode 1. We get a lot of flashbacks and stuff like that, and that was cool. And I thought Kingpin would play a bigger part, but really, he doesn't show up until like episode 4. It's only 5 episodes, so he shows up in episode 4, and nothing happens really. He just shows up. They didn't even have dinner. He brings the dinner over to the house, and the whole dinner scene was weird. It made no sense. He buys her wine. She pours the wine out, pull out some Coke. He starts pulling food on the table, and he just gets up and he just walks out. He's like, "Hey, meet me at the casino. I want to make you queen." So some reason he was like, he wants to retire. He wants to give his empire over to her, even though she tried to kill him. He still loves her or something. And he just leaves. And then the rest of that's like really the whole episode. And like the rest of the episode is just her having more visions. Every episode she's having visions. And we're seeing like flashbacks of her like ancestors. And one is good at playing some kind of ancient field hockey game or lacrosse game or something. And it all sounds crazy even just saying it out loud, but this is really in the show. Like they play like some 1,000-year-old lacrosse game in Alabama, and she had powers, and then one of them's a cowboy or something. They're not called cowboys. I forget what they're called. Cow something. Cow riders or something. And they're like basically like policemen for like Indian people back in the 1800s. And she couldn't be one because she was a woman. She couldn't braid her hair because she was a woman. But she had the power and she had to save her father. Her father got pinned down by like I don't know, some criminals on their land or something. They're shooting at them. And she shows up in the wide open and she just shoots them all. And it turned out she has like some kind of accuracy powers. Like each one of her ancestors who gets the power, all their powers I guess like different. One had like speed and agility. The other one had like accuracy. And the first one I think she just had like leadership and bravery or something. And I think Echo, she's able to all the powers echo back to her. That's what gets her name, Echo, I guess, because all these powers echoes through the generations, and she could pull all the people powers and make it her own. And that's really episode 4. In episode 5, they like some type of I don't know. I don't want to call it a carnival, but they had like rides and stuff out there. I guess you see a carnival, but they also some kind of Indian or Native American, some Native American tradition out there. I think they do some type of dance or something, and they're celebrating something. I don't know. But Echo, she decides she don't want to take over Kingpin's empire, even though that was her whole goal in episode 1 and 2. And she even put her family in danger because she wanted to take over his empire. She changes her mind. I guess she's going to skip out town, but she comes back because she comes back because what she comes back for? She comes back because she gets a text from one of her cousins or something, and she figure out that her cousin Bunny's kidnapped again, and this time they even got her grandmother. So she goes back into town. She keeps having visions. She has some more visions, and this is where it gets ridiculous. This is the problem. This is the problem, and this is the same problem I had with Blue Beetle. I went to go see Blue Beetle. I was hyped about Blue Beetle. This is the same problem I had about Blue Beetle. I keep talking. Blue Beetle. That they have family there that shouldn't be there. Blue Beetle should have just focused on Hime. They didn't. They tried to incorporate all these different family characters that shouldn't be there, and try to make them heroes too. And it took away what Hime was supposed to be. Where he's supposed to be the hero. Instead, you got all these goofy characters in his family and try to make it this family hero thing like they're Fantastic Four or something. Like they're like the first hero family. And it didn't work. It became goofy and became like a Disney or Nickelodeon show. Like a kid show. And like a bad Incredibles or something. And this is what they did here with Echo. There's a scene in Echo where she goes to fight Kingpin or rescue her family. I won't say fight Kingpin. She goes to rescue her family. She's in this barn. Kingpin walks in and he got her cousin kidnapped again. And got her grandmother kidnapped. And all of a sudden, she does some type of move, like some type of like hero stance, and all her little ancestors, like on some Avatar Last Airbender shit, they're all lined up behind her now. And I'm guessing Kingpin could see him because he's just like, yo, what the hell is going on? And then her hands start glowing, and she passes her powers to her grandmother and to her cousin who were kidnapped. And now they have superpowers. Their hands are glowing. And they just start beating up people with guns. And no one shoots them. They just start beating them up. Even though they got guns pointed at her everywhere. Her grandmother, who's like 90, is sitting there uppercutting people, moving slow as hell. It's just like, okay. Okay. So they end up just beating everybody up. She used her powers to try to heal Kingpin. Instead of killing him, because I guess she's on her hero journey, she tries to heal his heart by going into his mind and telling him he needs to heal himself or something. You know, forget his past and just accept his past or whatever. And it's a weird edit scene after that. After that, Kingpin was like, "What did you do to me?" And then the next scene, he's in the truck, like leaving. And then now she's at like some kind of cookout at her grandmother's house, and it goes off. And the real problem with Echo, man, she had no real villain. You could say the villain's Kingpin, but really he wasn't the villain. He was just a reason for her to go on the hero journey, but he wasn't a villain. He wasn't something she had to really overcome. Like usually a hero has a hero journey. Her journey wasn't one of a hero journey. Her journey wasn't one of learning and changing, not really, because she never had that villain that's supposed to teach her that, right? That's supposed to be the hero's journey, right? You know, like Luke, Darth Vader, and or you know, like Batman, Joker, or whatever. Kingpin was like he was bigger than that, and she never fought Kingpin. She wasn't the one she never fought him. Matter of fact, episode 1 and 3 is the only real time you see fights. They fought a little bit at the end of episode 5, but really the only fights you see is episode 1 and 3. Really, that's the big fights. And episode 1 fights were good. Episode 3 fights were goofy. And episode 5 fight just you got a 90-year-old lady uppercutting people, and the fight lasts for like 30 seconds. I wouldn't call it a real fight. But she had no villain, man. There was this one guy, he had like gold teeth or something. He was kind of supposed to be her villain, but she doesn't even fight him. And at the end, he gets killed by her cousin. Like one of her cousins take him out. She don't even get to take him out. She should have had like a person she's supposed to fight. They're supposed to be like a reflection of herself that she could fight, and that the audience could see her killing him, saying that she's killing that bad side of her because she was a villain in a Hawkeye, and she kills people. She's a murderer, you know. She's like an anti-hero who's supposed to be finding the good in herself and changing her life around by taking out, you know, someone who reflects that side of her, so we can see her changing. You really don't see that in Kingpin. Like, Kingpin really doesn't show up until like towards the end of the show. And then really at that point, she never fights him. It's just Kingpin tried to give her what she wanted, and then she just kind of turned it down because she had visions about her mom and her ancestors. She had no real villain. It's no real villain. And the writing was just bad, man. I'm sorry. After episode 2, episode 3, 4, and 5 were just all downhill, man. So if I had to rate Echo, man, I give it a D. I give it a D plus, because I really liked. I really like episode 1 and 2. I really like 1, and I like the opening. I thought the opening was dope. They didn't do that bullshit AI openings like they did for like Invasion and Loki. I really like the opening, and I wish the show was more grounded. I wish they didn't have the superpower shit. I think the superpower shit kind of killed it, and they keep doing the same flashbacks with her great grandmother and her little ancestors. They keep showing the ancestors with these little weird cut scenes to them every time. She keep having these weird visions, just weird times. And then they just show up at the end and just there. It was weird. And I like Echo when she was more grounded. And the power shit just kind of ruined it. And it was just weird. If they wanted to introduce her with powers, I don't think they did a good job with it. She should have had a villain with powers to make her have powers. Give her a real cut villain. No one like Kingpin. Kingpin is a Daredevil, Spider-Man villain. I think he was too big for her to be Echo's villain in her first origin story. You know, this is her first series. I think he's way too big of a villain for that, you know. They could have started off with somebody smaller. Had Kingpin just stay in the background, but I think they wanted to bring in viewers by using Kingpin's name. But Echo could have been something great, man. But I give it like a D plus. It's still better than other shows I watched, like Invasion, and I didn't enjoy Invasion that much. And it might be a tie with Hawkeye for me. I didn't really enjoy Hawkeye that much either. Somewhere around there, I guess. Episode 1 and 2 just so good, man. And I'm amazed by the actress who plays Echo. She's great. Like her fight scenes are great. No, well, not her fight scenes. I mean, what she could do with actually being deaf in real life and having a one leg. I think that's great for her fight scenes. For her to actually move like that, I think it's actually great. That's why I thought 1 and 2 was great, and then after that, it just went kind of downhill. And then one more thing, man. I'm finna end it right here, man. But one more thing I didn't like either is that in Hawkeye, they made it a point to where she could read lips. She didn't need you to do sign language. She'd just look at your mouth and she could understand what you're saying. She could read lips. Most deaf people are really good at reading lips. They can look at you and read lips. I had a homeboy who was deaf growing up, and we didn't know sign language, but he was real good at reading our lips. So he's just like, every time we talk to him, we got to make sure we're looking at him, and he'll read your lips. He'll be like, hey, blah, blah. He'll be like, okay. He'll understand, right? But we ain't know sign language, but we just read his lips, and then he's just like, okay. And, you know, we communicated that way. But they made it a point in Hawkeye where she could read lips. But for some reason in the whole show, she couldn't read lips. And I'm like, why she's not just reading their lips? And they had to have a translator everywhere she went. Somebody had to translate for her. And everybody had to do sign language to speak to her. And there was a point at the end when Kingpin, he had no translator and he had to talk. She kept looking at her cousin to translate for him. She was like, what is he saying? And she had to look at her cousin. I'm like, y'all said she could read lips in Hawkeye. Now she can't? But yeah, man, that was Echo, man. Marvel Studios Echo. Disney Plus Echo. Let me know what y'all think about the show, man. I know I just rambled a little bit, man. I wanted to make this short, but man, I can never make my shit short. I'm sorry. I just get to ramble and I start thinking about shit, man. This is off the cuff too. I'm not writing none of this down, man. I just watched the series. But yeah, man, let me know what y'all think about Echo, man. I think it's a missed opportunity, man. I think they could have did so much more with Echo. Echo had so much promise. Y'all think it should be more street level, more grounded, or y'all are with the power stuff? And you know, maybe I guess she has powers in the comics, but I think they could have introduced it better. But yeah, man, and the family was there for no reason. They tried to build like this family bond thing. I think they just didn't connect, and they were just there to be pawns. They were just there to be kidnapped so she could have something to do. Really, that's it. Their family just kidnapped, have something to do, and have an excuse to why she can keep getting these upgrades in her leg, I guess. I don't know, man. But yeah, man. Yeah, Disney Plus, man. I don't know what y'all gonna do, man, with these Marvel shows, man. Y'all need to do something. But yeah, man, thank you guys for watching, man. Fear My Productions, man. Subscribe to the channel, man. Comment down below, man. Let me know what you think, man. And if you enjoy the show, man, I'm happy for you, man. Enjoy the show, man. I'm not trying to knock nobody who liked this show, man. And this show had a lot of good points, man. I just think they dropped the ball at the end, personally. But if they do a season 2, hopefully the fight scenes could be better. And even though she has powers, they can still make it more grounded, man. You know, Daredevil has powers, and he's more grounded, right? But yeah, man. Thank you guys for watching, man. Until next time, man, like always, man, be good and peace.